On a chilly and excessively windy day in November 2013, Daniel Woods made the first ascent of Defying Gravity, a now iconic V15 or 8C boulder problem located at Thunder Ridge in Colorado. Over 10 years later, Nathaniel Coleman, an Olympic medalist and world-class boulderer, has managed to add a sit start to Defying Gravity, naming this first ascent No One Mourns the Wicked and proposing a grade of V17 or 9A. In this climbing news episode, we'll dive into the story and discuss where this new V17 fits into the landscape of American bouldering. Plus, we have a V17 third ascent and a V16 third ascent to talk about as well. My name is August. Welcome to August Climbing. Just last episode, we were talking about Shaolin, and now there's more V17 news to report on. I'd say that's a great way to start off the new year. Before we jump in, thanks for the great response last week when we introed the CC Natural Prime. In case you missed it, this is a lightweight training device with a 20mm natural edge, and on the opposite side, a 15mm in-cut edge. If you were one of the people who purchased it, and especially if you've had a chance to use it, we'd love to hear about your experience with it in the comments. I know that climbing culture appreciates any feedback you have. I love this product and I continue to use it for all of my gym climbing warm-ups. I've also been using it for a bit of at-home finger training. If you haven't picked one up yet, you still can. Just head over to climbingculture.shop or use the link in the description. With code AUGUST, currently the price goes from $40 down to $36, and there's free shipping in the United States. And thanks to Climbing Culture for sponsoring today's video. Let's start off with Nathaniel Coleman and his first ascent of No One Mourns the Wicked, V17 or 9A. As we talked about in the intro, the iconic stand start, Defying Gravity, was established by Daniel Woods back in 2013. Jimmy Webb repeated this dynamic line the following year in 2014. But then, though Austin Guyman continued to work the boulder, there was a long pause with no sends and not much attention given to Defying Gravity. It would take time for the next generation of young climbers to grow up and eventually visit this test piece. Case in point, Noah Wheeler, who snagged the third ascent of Defying Gravity in November 2023, approximately 10 years after Daniel Woods' first ascent. We'll talk more about Noah and a certain V17 ascent in just a moment. But this was followed shortly after with Nathaniel Coleman's ascent of Defying Gravity, also in 2023. And in late 2024, a flurry of ascents on the problem from Austin Guyman, Adam Shahar, and Colin Duffy. We reported on some of those in the previous episode. But here's the thing. Even after sending Defying Gravity, Nathaniel Coleman wondered what it would look like to master the problem's low percentage, dynamic crux move. What level of consistency was even possible on this move? And if that move could be mastered, would it be possible to add a low start? In this case, a V13 boulder intro that begins with a sit start and traverses left through a series of demanding, finger-intensive moves to reach the start of Defying Gravity. And for context, don't forget that this is all on a 50 to 60 degree overhanging boulder. Nathaniel gave us a first look at this low start in an Instagram post from October, sharing, "First look at Defying Gravity low. Spent most of the first session testing beta options, and I think I'm settled into this sequence. Lots to work on, dream about, and refine." And of course, the comments were already rife with speculation about a potential grade. And well, we didn't have to wait long to hear more. On New Year's Day, Mellow Climbing dropped a video of Nathaniel Coleman's first ascent of Defying Gravity low, named No One Mourns the Wicked, with a proposed grade of V17 or 9A. And though I'm only an armchair observer, it sure looks like a V17 to me. I will link to the Mellow video by filmmaker Ben Nielsen. And wow, he does a fantastic job of capturing the ascent and the story surrounding it. You're not going to want to miss it. And for those of you who really like to dive deep, I will also link to the Test Piece podcast featuring Nathaniel Coleman as he talks even more in depth about this ascent. With this first ascent of No One Mourns the Wicked and the recent first ascent of Shaolin, we now have 4 V17 boulders in the United States, 2 in Colorado and 2 in Nevada. The others being Megatron, still unrepeated, and Return of the Sleepwalker, Daniel Woods' classic line. And let's talk about Return of the Sleepwalker because a third ascent of this problem was just announced. This is located in Black Velvet Canyon near Las Vegas, Nevada. Following Daniel Woods' ascent in 2021 and Will Bosey's repeat in early 2024, we now have Noah Wheeler making an ascent. Let's see what he had to say about it on Instagram. Return of the Sleepwalker V17/9A, a singular moment in waking time that demands the question, is this real? A 1-minute dream floating on a lifetime of anxious sweats and all-nighters, a decade of reluctant youth practices that turned to stone obsessions and intense dedication, all of which aloft the goodwill of those around me. More to come soon once the surrealism is a little more tangible. To get to this point, Noah had sent the stand start Sleepwalker last season, announcing it in January 2024. After his send of Sleepwalker, he spent several more days working on the sit start. He then returned on a trip in March 2024, where he shared a video of an attempt where he made it all the way from the ground to that left-hand throw, sharing at that time, I got to this same point in the preceding 3 sessions, at least 3 times per session as well, in essence doing a hard V16 multiple times per session. I've gotten to the hold 12 plus times now with no send to justify the work. Truthfully, this throw move is my unfortunately high red point crux. Upon reaching this point in the climb, my fingers get painful and numb, and doing a V10 move in such a state is quite difficult, though of course possible. But Noah Wheeler's consistency and persistence has paid off, sending his first V17 and on a boulder that has repelled many other elite climbers. Next, let's talk about Lee Sung-soo, who has made the 3rd ascent of a highball boulder in the Buttermilks in Bishop, California. This is a problem called the Process V16 or 8C+ on the iconic Grandpa Peabody boulder. It was first ascended by Daniel Woods in 2015. So basically all of the hard boulders that we're talking about today are in some way connected to Daniel Woods. Zach Galla made the 2nd ascent of the Process earlier this year, and now Lee Sung-soo with the 3rd ascent. Let's see what he had to say on Instagram. The Process V16 3rd ascent, December 23rd, 2024, first ascent by Daniel Woods. This might be the best early Christmas gift I could receive. It's worthy of being my first V16. Thank you to everyone who has helped me. He adds Happy New Year, and you can see, of course, the gigantic scale of this highball boulder. Last episode, we briefly talked about Lee Sung-soo's send of Lucid Dreaming V15, another classic boulder in Bishop on the Grandpa Peabody boulder. So he's really been crushing it. I'm sure there's more that we could talk about, but these are the highlights of the week. Let me know if there's something I've missed, and we'll try to hit on that in the next episode. Happy New Year, and hey, my name's August. Thank you so much for watching.